everyone and welcome to Tabletop Odyssey. I'm sorry about the break in videos, I'm afraid I have been on holiday recently, but I'm back with another game. This game will be a rather quick game however, filmed as I was just about to go on holiday, so not a lot of time there. And due to our aggressive play styles of both myself and my opponent. This game is between the indomitable Basse and his posse, and the enigmatic Wong. The strategy for this game is raid the vaults, and the schemes were sweating bullets, let them bleed, in your face, take prisoner, and espionage. Quite the brutal array of choices there. As this is a league game for our club, there are some fun rules for extra league points that exist here. And I chose to activate one of them where I allow my opponent to choose my schemes. Unfortunately, this proved to make this game quite an uphill battle for me, as my opponent selected Espionage and In Your Face for themselves, and then In Your Face and Take Prisoner for me. But the reason this would become a massive obstacle for me is that my opponent left me a total of 0 targets for In Your Face's first point, so I could only really hit a maximum of 7 overall. Take Prisoner was also quite hard as they chose a teeny tiny little piglet who loves to damage themselves, and if they managed to die before making it into my half, then I probably wasn't going to get any points at all on them. So a tough one to really manage there. My list for this game had 5 stones available, and I took Basse 1 this time, along with his daughter Bernadette, obviously as a totem for free. I then took the flighty combo of the Clipper and a Rough Rider, whom I gave a Soulstone Cash to. I then took a duo of strong brawlers in the Sandworm and Jonathan Reichardt, and then rounded off the list with Winston Finnegan, who was going to provide me with some extra cards in my hand, hopefully allowing me to just blitz my opponent quite early. I was aiming for an alpha strike in this game. If I can hit them hard, hit them fast, I can damage their chances of really winning here. And then also trying out a few more models, as I've just bought the Clipper. I wanted to try that out. I wanted to test it in Explorers this time instead of Guild, see if that made a tangible difference. So just trying out a few new things and still getting used to the crew. My opponent here picked Wong 1, along with the Totem Olivia Bernard, 2 gnarly Swine Cursed with inferiority complex upgrades, the Pigapult with its accompanying explosive pig, a tiny little piglet, a Gatroba Core, 2 Dabblers, and then 5 Soul Stones to spare. I think their mission here is also to just go ham, go quick, go early, and just blow me to bits, and the schemes in this mission were kind of considered a bit of an afterthought. Just trying to have a bit of fun, relax, and just blow each other to smithereens, really. So, with not a lot of time available, just playing aggressively as possible, we both just kind of aimed straight for the centre field. It's wedge deployment, so having an extra 6 inches ahead on deployment for me really helped, basically putting me in range of quite a few of my guns straight away, especially with things like the Rough Rider, and it's only a walk and a charge away for some of my other stuff to get into range here. So my opponent, they kindly positioned themselves basically right at the forefront of their deployment, all bundled up nicely, lovely for a shotgun blast. It'd be great if they didn't also happen to reduce damage from blasts. But it is what it is. So here we are. I have a great view of my opponent's cluster, positioning themselves pretty close to me. They then were kind enough to hand me the initiative, so I decided I was going to make use of a red joker in my hand and walk charge Reichardt into combat with basically the majority of his crew apart from the 2 dabblers. Because a 2-inch melee range is great. I kind of made a bit of a mistake here, targeting one of the Swine Cursed. maybe I should have gone for the likes of Olivia Bernard, or tried to put a bit more pressure on Wong himself, or someone else maybe hitting the Gatroba core. I wasn't quite aware that I could in fact hit basically everyone here, so it is what it is, however. And I managed to claw through 5 damage with the built-in ram trigger, and then the red joker providing a second one. Unfortunately, min 3, my opponent did flip quite high, stopping me from hitting a nice damage spike, but 5 damage is still a hefty chunk into that Swankhurst, really putting the pressure on my opponent. And since they're engaged with pretty much everyone, they're going to struggle a little bit here. So, understandably, they were panicking just a little bit, and the only real option they had here was to try and poke Jonathan away with Olivia's fancy cane. So they cheated in the trigger with a red joker themselves just to really get it off. It took them a couple of tries, pushing Jonathan back a couple of inches, giving them that little bit of breathing room, ready to do some more stuff here. My Rough Rider takes a bit of a pot shot at one of the Swankhurst, nudges it out a little bit, not a lot, get a bit unlucky with some of my flips here. And then his Bakor comes in and basically just heals the whole crew and drops a bunch of shielded on, making some of my efforts feel a little bit wasted. So really should have been targeting down that Bakor early, I think. And then went with the Clipper. I wanted to bring Winston up the field. I'm wanting to save my pass tokens for later, thinking turn 2 might be quite important. And then charged forward with a power token, thinking that I could kind of like block off this avenue using the terrain. Then shot the Swankhurst for a little smidgen of damage. Unfortunately, I think I was about half an inch off maybe from blocking them. Mistake on my part, but I think I ran out of movement at that point, so I was just doing the best that I could, hoping that no one would come and engage me and allow me to move forwards a bit. Wong started canning glowy out to all of his minions at this point with the glow. Launched into space a scheme that they had in the backfield. I think the Bakor put that down. And then decided to zap Johnny in the face for 3 damage and gives some of his guys fast. Lovely. Basse goes next. He wants to try and save Rykart. I'm thinking maybe I can try and score the second point in your face. Rykart's up there. If he can hold himself in their deployment zone, that's a point. Really, I should have just recognised Rykart was probably going to die and just shotgun them in the face. But Basse decides instead that he's going to give a stoic nod twice, healing him up a bit, and then decides to throw a sandy cloud in one of the pigmen's face to try and slow them down a bit, things like that. I'm hoping that the reduction in movement might stop him from just tearing through me. And then the first of their pigmen decided to walk up and engage Jonathan Rykart, getting a focus from his upgrade, which really panned out in their favour here, so they weren't too annoyed because they had fast, and that fast action essentially was giving them a focus, so where we get to them. And then he decided to smack Rykart all the way down to 1 HP, so quite worrying on that point. Bit of an eek. Bernadette comes and she tries to bring Johnny back out to safety. Fails twice, unfortunately. Not great there. Maybe I should have just pushed her up to score on the point, but I mean, it's turn 1 here, the Clipper's scoring it. Didn't really think the position was in too much threat. The Worm then is going to basically go and charge into the conflict, fails to do anything damage, and then fails to bury. So, really not great flipping on that point. I wish I had the cards in hand up and bury. Didn't happen. Is what it is. But the good news is, from my perspective at this point, both the objectives are blocked by large bases. The bad, I'm quite vulnerable. Rykart's basically almost dead, and I'm looking quite vulnerable and close together. A little bit too close together for my liking. The Pick-a-Pot then tries to throw his explosive pick up the field, fails to do so, and Winston then moves up with a dirigible ride, saves Johnny, gives him a little bit of a healing boost as he rescues him to safety. The little pig then goes reckless and dashes up the field, causing a bit of a nuisance really. It's nice that he's coming to me though, instead of just killing himself, I guess. So that's always a nice help. With nothing left for me to activate, the pair of dabblers then ride the currents of the field, shoot Clipper and Johnny, bring the Rykard back down to 1 HP again, kind of mitigating Winston's healing. And then the second Swankhurst charges the Clipper, getting into base contact and crucially just nudging in range of that Raid the Vault marker. Something that's going to come back and haunt me very shortly. Turn 1 complete, obviously 0-0, and into turn 2 we go. So turn 2 arrives and I'm going, well, Rykard's probably going to die straight away, so I am going to go with him first, smack a pigman in the face, twice, and doing absolutely 0 damage because my opponent is flipping crazy good right now. But it is what it is. Oh, I'm saying that phrase a lot, sorry. Yeah, so failing abysmally. The Picapult is going to then yeet in a Bomb Pig, and Olivia giving me a lot of threats to deal with and a lot of very, very high TNs for me to deal with. Doesn't manage to do any damage off of this though, but obviously Wong has still to go. Sensing a bit of problem here, Basse blows up the pig. We all managed to dodge some damage here. Maybe should have shot Olivia instead. Wong's then going to turn on the war crimes here. So, Wong loves to fazap things, and, well, when Wong fazaps, he fazaps 6 times. If you're wondering how that happens, it's the built-in trigger that allows him to drop 2 shockwaves instead of 1, allowing a lot more coverage. Centering it on Olivia, and with her own boost of the target number, movement 17 duels. That's a bit impossible, really, to... I mean, how many cards in your deck can be a movement 17 duel with movement 5, right? Not a lot. So I'm going to take a bit of damage across like 3 or 4 people here. Not fun. Winston's going to fail to do pretty much anything meaningful in response, and then the Swankhurst is going to just murder Johnny. Just puts him straight out of his misery. And then, you know, why not? Because he's still got extra action. Kills the Sandworm too. Why not? Just 2 for 1. I mean, why not when the when the worm is so isolated and Rykard's next to them and you both engage in a Swankhurst, he just turns around. 1, 2, smack, 2 bodies dead. And I am not looking very good right now. Turns out, a lot of your defences in this game not protected from shockwaves. Who knew? Anyway, as we get on to things, my Clipper is going to drop some scrap for the next turn, thinking it's going to give me a positive to maybe get rid of this Swankhurst. And then I'm basically hoping I can get one of my triggers, toss that Swankhurst out the way and basically just secure this point for me. But he hard fasts, and I'm not able to really take the strategy point here. Dabbler comes riding past, gets up close to me, and kind of contests one of the points in the middle. The other Dabbler's going to drop some shockwaves down. Not fun. Basse is going to take a little bit of damage off that. Bernadette's then going to try and haul the Swankhurst away from the points, so I can try and get one of those vault markers to score with. But as a common theme with Bernadette here, she's failing twice. Again, should have moved to hold a point. Rough Rider does, however, with those lovely inbuilt positive, just shoots Olivia off the board. Just a nice little pew-pew there, buying me a little bit of a reprieve. His second shot doesn't do a lot, but he then rides to safety, gets a nice healing trigger to push Basse up a little bit, and then he's going to try and rush towards the far Raid the Vaults marker in my opponent's deployment zone. Little Piggy is then going to go. Reckless charges Winston, which is an interesting choice, because Winston's just going to dirigible ride them into take prisoner. Fun choice. Unfortunately they don't do a lot of damage, but they do stampede on me. Good for them. Bakor comes out, just starts healing everyone back up again, and things are not looking fun. Obviously with the ability to kind of reduce damage on the Swinecurse with Glowy, it's quite hard to get rid of these guys. But luckily for me, their Swinecurse is doing as much to my Clipper as my Clipper is doing to them. Just not a lot. At the end of turn 2, neither of us are going to be able to score the strategy here. Swinecurse and Clipper on 1 point. Basse and the Rough Rider, I believe, are contesting Wong and the other Swinecurse on the other point. But with the Swinecurse killing Jonathan Reichardt near Wong, do manage to score in your face, putting them ahead on 1 point now. Going into turn 3 now, I am definitely on the ropes. I've only got Basse, Bernadette, the Clipper, the Rough Rider, and Winston left to go. And it's still 5 models, but we're about to make that go down a little bit more. I'm going to then take initiative, and I'm going to use my excess funds from Flush with Cash on the Rough Rider, just to bring that hand up, hoping he doesn't die. And then I'm going to use the slightly restocked hand here on Basse, as he's going to bring out his nice shotgun here. Pump out some damage, as we've got a nice fine line of a Dabbler, the Bakor, and then a Swinecurse, all in a row here. I'm going to, but they're just spread apart, so I can hit 2, can't hit 3. Bit annoying, but we'll work with it. I'm going to get a bit of luck here, however. So I shoot the Bakor, and I get a red Joker for damage. So the only thing that's really saving them is the shielded that they got. But 1 HP. I can pick it off, it's alright. He's then going to go and go with Wong. Wong's going to use his Demon Bag, with all the fun and games that comes with it, saying absolutely murder is great, but espionage, I really need to score that. So here we go, going to interact. I'm going to send those cookies up to space, doubling them up for next turn, and have a Dabbler drop a scheme down later else. He really likes espionage. My Rough Rider is then going to take the opportunity, kills the Bakor, so really putting in some work here, this boy. And he's then going to shoot a hole in the Dabbler, taking him down to 1 HP as well. So really putting in the work here. He's then going to run away even further, puts himself right into position to score that far vault, provided nothing else happens next turn. The Swinecurse is in a fight with Ridley at the moment, and he's going to get some good hits in this time. He chunks a good 5 damage out of me through that 2 armor. And I'm looking quite nervous on that side of the field too. Bernadette is finally able to lure something. It takes her 2 tries though. The Dabbler comes all the way, and I thought I was safe here. I should have again walked to that vault marker, because this Dabbler, he's just going to walk away from Bernadette and onto that vault marker himself. Oh. Bit of facepalm moment for me there. Clipper is going to try and do some damage to the Swinecurse. Black Jokers don't get a lot else out of it. And then the Pigapult and the other Dabbler, they're trying to throw down some shockwaves, doesn't really quite go off for them. And then Winston's going to dirigible ride the little pig over into my half of the territory. Still close enough that Winston can score raid the vaults, but the pig isn't counting for it. Hoping that I can get take prisoner. However, I really should have just spent the last pass token I had. Again, quick game, I'm making loads of mistakes here. Still a new crew, still getting used to it, but we're working through here. I completely forgot that the Swinecurse they had left to go has Frightening Reminder, and he's just going to push that little pig to safety and deny me that point. Grumble. Wong has well and truly got my number today. They're leading 2 points to 0, 1 point on vaults and 1 point on in your face. Turn 4 is really going to prove to be the last full turn here before, well, the writing's kind of on the wall at this point. for Basse. The schemes, they start the turn, they fall from the sky into the perfect espionage points. Lovely. I mentioned before, Dabbler chucked an espionage point down. That's 2 now. They've scored a point on espionage this turn, and they're basically set up for scoring it next turn. Great. My Rough Rider, he's in the far corner. He thinks he's safe at this point. Is he safe? No. He does manage to kill the Dabbler though, which is great. But the second Dabbler, he's going to backtrack himself, do a little bit of running, and he's going to contest their home field objectives, stopping me from getting another a vault point here. Kind of painful. And then the Pigapult's just going to delete him. So, it was fun while it lasted, but the Rough Rider, I guess, served their justice here. Wong is then going to summon another 6 for Zaps, and proceeds to basically Control-Alt-Delete on Winston. That's, I think it was about 10 damage worth of glowy tokens by the end of it, from crackling energies. So he's just decided, I mean, he was only on like 2 health anyway at this point. He's going to take 10 damage and cry. There's a nice Winston-shaped crater by that vault marker now. Yeah. Basse is, however, going to hold on long enough to contest the point. And Bernadette is going to finally move up to that vault marker to take it away from them. There's 2 points there. There's 2 of my models there. There's only 1 of his. There is no Dabbler there now because he's been dead. And I'm going to take my first point of the game at the end of the turn, as Wong is going to score Espionage. Luckily, the other vault marker was saved by the fact that Basse and Wong were contesting that by themselves. So, whilst this Swinecurse decides to kind of run forwards at me, contested on that side. Turn 5, it's a wrap at this point. I understand I can't win at this point. They've already basically scored the second point of Espionage. So that's 4 points straight off the bat. Basse is on like 2 health at this point. Probably gonna die this turn. The Clipper's on like 2-3 health. They might die this turn. Bernadette, she's fragile. She could quite easily die this turn. They're the only models I have left. So I'm going to concede. It's the right and honourable thing to do. I'm running out of time. I need to go. My opponent's well and truly won here. We kind of wrap it up here. The Piglet, he's well and truly deep into my table half. So I'm going to score a point on Take Prisoner. Takes me up to 2. He's then going to smack me, and he's going to take a vault point just by murdering Basse. He's got Wong in by that point. He's going to score it there. He's scoring on Raid the Vaults this turn. He's scoring Espionage this turn, and then to make matters worse, that Swinecurse, he's just going to straight into my deployment zone with 3 moves. Because they're fast and glowy, things like that. He's just going to walk straight into my deployment zone, and he is going to claim the second point on In Your Face. So the game is going to finish 6-2 to Wong. A massive congratulations to my opponent. A very fast, furious, aggressive game here. Really forced a lot of mistakes from me. Still in the crib, but there was definitely some questionable decision making on my part. There is a lot of simple duels, and when they're at movement 17, good luck with those. So, lessons learned. Both my opponent and I are still kind of learning these crews, but Basse's fragility is certainly evident here. A lot of Basse games I've noticed tend to either have Basse murdering the opponent very quick, or Basse being murdered by the opponent very quick. very big glass cannon crew here. He does have the ability to push out a ton of damage, but against an opponent on vaults that can effectively remove group targets quite easily, stacks glowy on you when you succeed duels. It's very hard to beat without a great hand and a little bit of luck, and also remembering that if you want to dodge the shockwaves, you're probably not going to have many people on the vault either, so a bit of a fork there. It really worked masterfully in positioning Olivia into the thick of things and kind of took advantage of me when needing to be close to those vaults to score. Giving fast to their own models is just, it's the tip of the iceberg here. Reducing damage with glowy on Swinecast. They are really tough cookies to crack. Basse felt the pain train quite a lot here. Even without the scheme restrictions placed upon me by the League Challenge, I felt it was a bit of a difficult matchup. We both thoroughly enjoyed ourselves, however. It was a very brief, fun game of just pounding each other to shreds. Just a lot of pure power, not a lot of strategic masterpieces, but just a lot of high octane tension, and it was fun. That's really what this game is about sometimes, just having fun, reminding you why you play this game, just duking it out with two friends having a chill time, you know? So, a big thanks to my opponent for a fantastic game, just credit to their victory, and also, again, credit to Imps Gaming for allowing us to play such great games there. We have a massive community there now. I think we're hitting maybe about 30 people, a good 20 of which are regularly playing games there. It's just really good to see so many people turning up to play this wonderful game. And I'd just like to say that if you haven't already and you really enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell button below, and I hope to see you next time. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to me, and I wish you just a wonderful evening, morning, day, however it is that you're watching this. Have a good cup of tea, as we Brits do, whatever it is that makes you comfortable. This time it's Tabletop Odyssey, and I guess we're launched into space every once in a while.